Now exclusive then, and Avanne caught up with Piramal Realty CEO Gaurav Sawhney to talk about the recovery in real estate, demand trends, and of course regulatory changes that will propel growth in the sector.
Sales, like I said earlier, and we hinted at the economy and positive things for real estate and in general. I think the good thing is that across the top 7 cities, like I said, where we track and we have information available, clearly things have been looking up. We feel that demand is almost going to be better than the pre-COVID levels as well at the end of this year. So if you look at specifically MMR, I think the sales growth rate is in excess of 50 to 60% over the previous year already. So that's a very positive sign on how the demand is now starting to look up in the city specifically. So I think that's something which is very encouraging, and one thing which is also helping the industry to grow and things to look up in real estate is the consolidation. So that's, I think, one key trend which happened post-COVID, and for many reasons now you would see the growth of branded developers, corporate developers growing. And as they grow share with a lot of transparency, with RERA, with a lot of commitment to delivery, I think it will bring in the much required investment and confidence in consumers buying. So this is here to stay, is how we see it.
Yeah, speaking of these players that are cropping up, is that leading to a lot of competition within the space, or is there room to grow for everyone? Is that a concern?
So I think it's always about garnering more market share. But like I said, consolidation is more about, now bringing in branded players, who have a corporate lineage. Brands have their own credibility. So in many ways, it's a very positive feature for the customer, because the customer now gets to, deal with transparent developers, and, whatever is being promised will be delivered. And I think timely delivery has also been a big concern. Now with much more visibility on approvals and status of completions, etc. All these things are, I think, finally the consumer will benefit, even if the sector is getting consolidated and few players will garner larger market shares, but largely it's the consumer who's here to benefit. And with that confidence, you see demand will keep going up.
Right, and having said that, in large part is also due to the initiatives that have been taken by the government on real estate, on the infrastructure space as a whole. Your views on, how much has been done and whether or not there is a lot more still required?
So look, a lot happened just pre-COVID. If you look at the 2-3 years, a lot of things around GST, RERA, have been very positive generally for industry, and RERA specifically for real estate. I think some initiatives which you hinted at earlier about the affordable housing, the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, for example, which also was a real booster during the COVID times, etc., and has been helping to grow the landscape or the footprint of the completions and more people to come and participate in home buying. All these, I think, have been positive factors. Also, a lot of focus on the budget on infra development now, with a lot of highways. Look at Bombay with metro, with the new Sea Link, etc. I think these are very, very positive initiatives, and they really help. I think the last one being the entire focus on the digital Bharat, or if I may say, the focus on the digital sort of economy, everything. I think these are areas which in many ways boost and help with a lot of tech, where big data, analytics, all these things are available. It makes a huge difference to consumer confidence in buying again.
Taking off from there, given that we're talking about affordability, the fact that the interest rate environment is also largely conducive, the average annual pricing trends as well seem to be increasing quarter on quarter.
That's right.
What is the outlook that you're looking at when it comes to pricing, especially within Mumbai?
Okay, I think this year what we feel is there will be an increase of anywhere between 5 to 7% on prices. And so far, I think developers have been able to command that increase. Of course, there were a variety of factors why that needed to be done. But the fact is that, because, like I said, the buoyancy of the demand, I would say that anywhere between 5 to 7% would be the increase one could expect to see in real estate prices this year.
And given the kind of sales momentum as well that we've seen in the month of November, a rise of about 15% at record highs, this momentum is here to stay, you think?
Yes, I think it's also, we must realize that these growth rates are basis the last couple of years, but then, we've seen some impact with COVID. One cannot deny the pandemic had its own impact on demand across sectors. But I think with a variety of other reasons which I suggested earlier, it is here to stay, and you would see, and 50-60% growth rates is a high number. It's a good number, but like I said, it may be on a lower base, but going forward, if one is able to sustain this and continue to grow from that base, I think that will be very exciting. And I think, like I said, one more reason that could potentially happen is because consumer sentiment now is about buying real estate. So I think 60% people with some recent surveys have opted for buying real estate, and clearly I think the reason is there has been a lot of volatility, the Ukraine war. I think there is global questions around recession and stability of other economies and what they would do. I think India still has more good story to tell, and I would say a more stable story. So I think combination of these factors will lead to also growth rates to stay, which is what one is looking at.
And look at the landscape as well for real estate in Mumbai, if we will. There's the Trans-Harbour link. You've also got the fact that we've had the Navi Mumbai airport. All of that really seems to be changing the landscape of real estate in Mumbai and in the country as a whole. How do you see it growing?
I think the connectivity surely will have its own role. One of the reasons, island city like Mumbai will be challenged is because of the commuting, and because of faster commuting, better connectivity, better infra. It will encourage people to travel and, stay in the suburbs and stay in places. Clearly,
with the coastal road, for instance.
Post COVID, I must say this, there has been a sort of a demand for larger homes. And, as I call it, we've read it also, there has been a rise of the 3 BHK. We've seen 3 BHKs now contributing to as much as 2 beds in, the purchase pattern. And clearly now people would be more open-minded to, crossing boundaries, living in the suburbs, living in the peripheral suburbs, etc. And a lot of volumes are being transacted there. But there's a good chance with this development, ticket sizes will also start, seeing up. People will go for, bigger homes and start buying that. So clearly there'll be a lot of positive which will come through for the industry as such.
So in particular for Piramal Aranya, run us through how many flats are currently available and how many have been sold so far, and when does possession begin?
Yeah, so this development is about 2.3 million square feet, close to about 9 lakh square feet is what we have sold here already. And we started with the luxury tower, which was primarily focused on large 3 beds and 4 beds, in fact the 4 beds as well, and it had this unique dual aspect design which I spoke to you about. So you literally get a 270-degree view from your homes, and you have some mesmerizing views from this project. So that was the one which was the first one to go to market and what we launched. And depending on the market, as we introduced new towers, we even went for smaller 2 and 3 BHKs where more people from the neighborhood could participate in the buying process.
So just to put that into perspective, how many flats in total and how many would have been sold so far?
So for now, I think we're looking at about 1,300 odd. So I would say that close to about 600 is something that we've been able to move now.